Don't be scared, okay? You might have come here for some relaxation after going through a hectic schedule and stressful day. I'll try to make it as lighter as possible to you. Tell me, how many of your friends and family members are facing fertility issues, miscarriages, and ovarian disease? Do you know the numbers are increasing like never before? Reason? Food? Environment? That's what the paid media is feeding you with. And if you're an educated idiot, you will believe it. But if you have any sense, you will search for channels like String to get to know the right information. The whole world is lost into conspiracy theories, but the reality is totally different. The ecosystem will label me as a conspiracy theorist because I'm gonna ditch big names like UNICEF, WHO, Bill Gates, etc. What I'm gonna tell you now is a shocking to the core kind of information. And it's very risky thing for a small chap like me to expose Rockefeller. But I'm super excited about doing things which will benefit the humanity, especially for the people of Bharat. This particular group of people are involved in injecting a vaccine which killed so many people in Bharat. Let's look at the whole story behind this inhuman act. In 1974, during the tenure as a USA National Security Advisor, Kissinger prepared a very secret report and plan to control the world population, especially the population of less developed countries of Asia and Africa, for US security and overseas interests. Henry Kissinger was the closest intellectual of Rockefeller, and he was personally funded by them for 15 years before he got appointed as the 7th US National Security Advisor. Who is Rockefeller? You know these brothers who made a fortune out of petroleum industry? John D. Rockefeller and William A. Rockefeller Jr., who built a whole dynasty over oil industry during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. By 1977, the Rockefellers were considered one of the most powerful families in American history. Powerful doesn't mean generous, by the way. The third generation of the Rockefellers family and brother of David Rockefeller, Mr. Nelson A. Rockefeller, was the 49th governor of New York and 41st vice president of the United States. Henry Kissinger crafted a dangerous plan to control the world population. Why? US security reasons. These fools are always shit scared about their security. The first country he mentioned to control the population is India. Then comes Pakistan, Bangladesh and other Asian African countries which are less developing. He recommended many options for long-term and short-term plans. His priority was biomedical research. His short-term goal was sterilization of men and women. Just after 2 years of this report, in 1976, forced sterilization was done by the government of India. It was Indira Gandhi's tenure, and I'll leave it to you to connect the dots as to why she declared an emergency in 1975. 21 months of emergency in India. All the civil liberties were suspended, and her wicked son, Sanjay Gandhi, began a vasectomy campaign which is called as gruesome campaign to sterilize poor men. World Bank, SIDA and UN Population Fund were involved in this crime. One of her wicked grandsons now began Bharat Jodo Yatra. I don't know how many lives it would cost. Hell lot of fools joining this shit. We don't know what's their plan. To sell India to China or something? During the 1975 emergency, any number of human rights violations were reported. There were reports of police cordoning off villages and virtually dragging the men to surgery. An astonishing 6.2 million Indians were sterilized in just a year, which was 15 times the number of people sterilized by the Nazis. According to science journalist Mara Westendahl, 2,000 men died from botched operations. The funniest thing here is, in 1983, UN Population Fund announced an award to Indira Gandhi. UNPFA and World Bank are two very important organizations to trap and fund poor countries. Let's come to Kissinger's report. Kissinger planned to reach rural areas of low-income countries in the name of providing basic health services with the help of organizations like UN Population Fund, World Bank, WHO, UNICEF, etc. Here is the confidential document of WHO where they mentioned all the partners and agencies trying to accelerate the public health centers. It has all the names that we have been discussing till now. UNPFA, Rockefeller, World Bank, UNICEF, USAID, etc. The ultimate fraudsters. The world knows them otherwise, as if they are working for humanity. Kissinger said in his report for biomedical research, because it would be a simple, low-cost, effective, safe, long-lasting and acceptable method of fertility control. So the Rockefeller Foundation has given funds to the National Institute of Immunology in New Delhi in India in 1985 to research on a vaccine to control fertility. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, and officially research happens in India to create a vaccine to mess up the fertility of a human being. And here we go, a vaccine for birth control, invented by the same NII in 1992, research funded by Rockefeller. A vaccine that can prevent the pregnancy through administration every 6 months. Before the educated idiots rejoice this as a wonderful invention, let me tell you the horrible science used behind this vaccine. By injecting the pregnancy hormone HCG into the blood, they will cause our own immune system to stop pregnancy. You can read the details in this article. Dr. David Ayub says,
the studies have been around and very successful, well, reasonably successful, but what really bothers me, you can't just inject HCG into a human because the body knows, it's okay, it's not my HCG, but it's not foreign enough. You have to make it more foreign to the body. So they attach it to some other carrier, and so when the immune system attacks the carrier, it'll also boost the immune system, and it'll eventually attack the HCG, learn how to recognize the foreign HCG. They have linked it to a couple carriers, and that's diphtheria and tetanus. Now the trouble with those things is those are in vaccines anyway. So what you have, if it works, you have a great explanation. If you send tetanus vaccine to the third world and you have some recognition of this problem, then you could say, oh, well, that was our anti-fertility vaccine industry, and they must have shipped the wrong stuff or something. So it has the ability for abuse by using antigens that are already out there, carrier proteins. A little bit of science, if I could. This blows me away. The targets are the reproductive hormones. And antibodies, in case you don't know, is the innate immune system's ability to destroy something. There are proteins in the body that will find out something that's foreign, attack it, and destroy it. So the goal is to try to get the body to attack its own hormones and disrupt pregnancy. The path, from top to bottom, the brain sends a hormone to the pituitary gland, which sits at the base of the skull, sends signals to the testicles or ovaries, and those organs produce testosterone and estrogen and progesterone and so forth. So if you interrupt any of that cycle, you're going to mess up fertility.
On the other side, in the year 2000, the GAVI Alliance was declared to provide vaccination to less developing countries. Bill Gates is the main funder for this program, and of course in partnership with WHO, World Bank, UNICEF and other NGOs, kind of achieved the mission of Kissinger mentioned in his report. As per the plan of Kissinger, GAVI, Bill Gates, WHO, World Bank, UNICEF and other private donors have worked together to create a huge network of private health centers in rural villages so that they can do a massive vaccination on a very large scale. In 2009, results are out. 9 tribal girls died after taking the HPV vaccine in the trial. In 2013, Standing Committee of Rajya Sabha presented a report in which they found a big role of GAVI, Bill Gates, PATH and ICMR. This is what the educational and research institutes are all about. To all those idiots who brag about Nehru being the legend who brought us IITs, IIMs and all, this is what the purpose, okay? Not on humanitarian grounds, just to invent some shitty vaccine and plan a genocide. He is not a Vedavyasa Maharshi to give birth to 100 kids out of one pregnancy. None of the idiots who come out of so-called medical institutes are as genius as our ancient Indian sages. Same thing with the engineers. I come from NIT Warangal. I know what shit it is. Even now I regret that 4 years of my crucial life went wasted going there. I have friends from IITs. I know what kind of fools they have become after coming out of IITs. I'll make a separate video to talk about it. Coming back to Kissinger's plan, no action has been taken against any of these organizations or people involved in this crime, and the case is still open. More shockingly, our apex immunization advisory body, National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, has a financial tie-up with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation till 2017. What changed in the aftermath? Nothing other than direct financial support. Bill and Melinda Gates are still working hand-to-hand with ICMR, PATH and NTAGI. They have access to the President, Prime Minister and almost all Chief Ministers of India. Melinda Gates was in India on 5th December On 13 December, NTAGI chief has given statement that he hopes that India will soon provide HPV vaccine to girls from 9 to 14 years in the national program. N.K. Arora is the chairperson of the Scientific Advisory Committee for the HPV program, which has a special MOU with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. N.K. Arora is also chairman of the COVID working group. Isn't this a conflict of interest? Last but not least, N.K. Arora has received Rockefeller Iron Glen Fellowship in 1993 for studying clinical epidemiology. Now let's listen to the predictions given by Dr. David Ayub in 2005 about the possible pandemic in future.
This chills me. This was a press release August 05. On August 30th and 31st, more than 750,000 vaccinators will go house to house and work at vaccination booths across Indonesia to reach more than 24 million children under the age of 5 in one day. In one day. Now, don't you think it's more cost effective to use about maybe 10,000 vaccinators and take 3 months? They gain experience. What's the hurry? This was a trial, in my interpretation. This is a trial run in order to vaccinate a lot of people, so if and when something goes wrong in the vaccine, nobody will refuse it. They've already taken it. So it takes a little time for these rumors to spread about abortions, ovulation problems, paralysis, so forth. So they have a trial run now to vaccinate a huge, huge number of people in one day. And I believe it's possible that this infrastructure that's being built in this country with the flu vaccine, this pandemic that's going to come, they're trying to build the infrastructure to do mass vaccinations in a very, very short period of time. It's just a theory.
Those of you who are still under the impression that Kissinger is a humanitarian, you do not know what he said about Indians. He said that Indians are bastards. And who are the deep state associates working with him supporting his plan? Rockefeller, Bill Gates, WHO, UNICEF, GAVI, ICMR, NII, NTAGI, PATH, SAC, and many more. For them, Indians are bastards. I don't know whether Modi ji and Motabhai are aware of this. Someone please translate it to Hindi and send it to Yogi ji at least. I don't have a team right now. Bloody no one has guts to come out and speak in front of camera. Pissed off people, even if you call them bastards, they will apply all kinds of this karma, logic, existence will take care of them, they will suffer. These peaceful people, these are the actual idiots who facilitate the genocide. Doesn't matter you have a powerful military at the border, you will be killed if you are not aware of the threat. I'm not just talking about Hindus, it could be anybody. How many of your friends and family members are facing fertility issues, miscarriages, polycystic ovarian disease? Bloody share this message to everyone. If not Bharat, at least protect your family. If you have any emotion towards the nation, please send this message to all and make them aware of the bio-war. Just a minute before we close. I know it doesn't make any sense if a person like me, a nobody like me, calls Bill Gates a fraud, Rockefeller a fraud. These are world's strongest people. I know what kind of a fool I am. You need not troll me. Yes, I neither have money, I neither have power, I neither have this army of fan following, nothing. And I know the condition of our own people, brainwashed, working in their affiliated companies, nobody will support me. And I know very well that fighting like this is not at all a correct strategy. But rather than wasting time feeling pity on me, trolling me, why don't you do something about these people? How can a man who killed millions of lives roam around freely on earth? What kind of a world are we living in? I'm telling you, the world wouldn't have seen COVID if this bugger was not there. Hey, what is COVID? I got COVID 3 times, never visited a doctor. I cured myself. I cured for a lot of other friends with simple techniques taught by our rishis. I'm challenging you, bloody inject the virus into me. I'll cure myself without visiting a doctor and show you. Open challenge. You watched this video. This was done when I was shivering with COVID. Look at my eyes. I was doing fine. See, this is not to say you don't wear the mask and all. You must wear it. You must follow all the government's protocol. Even though it's stupid. I followed. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm alive not because of your shitty vaccine. I'm alive because I regularly did sadhana given by my guru and prepared the body to fight the foreign agency. I'm also prepared to fight the external agencies. But what about you?